I want to get to the Phoenix Suns because this was amazing, and you've been doing some reporting around Phoenix, so I want to make sure we do this while you're still on set with us. Okay, so this is an advertisement for a meet and greet with Jock Jackson at a local Phoenix supermarket. These are the people who came to see him. He did not come to see them. Suns interim GM James Jones, he was there. So what did he do? This is why we love James Jones. The champ, he brought everyone there free beer. So look, the team
What about the kids that couldn't drink beer? The kids want to see the player.
I mean, you know, look, the team then later fined Josh Jackson $20,000 for missing the event. I believe he is doing some sort of makeup. Paul, I just want to know, is it free beer better than meeting an NBA player? Which would you prefer?
Well, as a kid, as a fan,
yes,
I wouldn't be able to get a beer. So
okay,
what's the makeup for that kid who brought the jersey, the ball, the Josh Jackson shoes? Like, what's the makeup for that kid? A free ticket to the game?
I don't know if they're doing that. I mean, you, again, have been around Phoenix. Give us sort of the big picture here.
I mean, we saw Devin Booker's comments. I mean, this is a sick franchise right now. I mean, insofar as it is a franchise where there's not a lot of accountability, there's not a lot of pride and sort of organizational culture and cohesion. They are losing games at a record amount. They're actually, probably on pace to win fewer than 25 games. I think for the third or fourth straight season. It is in my piece, but they need help. They need an organizational reset.
They have the number one draft pick this year.
Of course, of course, and this is what we do. Let's reward a failing franchise that they sort of can't even do the most basic functions of fan relations correctly with getting them more talent.
Right.
But that's a different conversation. Another reform for another day.
Okay.
But it needs a reset. I mean, there needs to, and they've got some good talent. I mean, obviously that's the good news. The good news is they've got a collection of young players, but there's a leadership void there right now. And James Jones is doing everything he can, but until there is, from the top down, a plan. What is the plan?
So are you suggesting, I mean, you can't force the ownership to sell the team, so what are you suggesting happens top down?
I think what they need to figure out a direction, assign responsibility to a new, whether it's the existing team of Buckstein and Jones, whether it is getting someone from outside the organization, and to lay down a new set of principles whereby, and also ownership needs to allow this executive team to do its job. They need to be empowered to make personnel decisions. They need to be empowered to hold people below them accountable, and they need to beef up their scouting staff. And really, it's really difficult there right now.
When a player doesn't feel like he has to show up at a fan event, what does that say to you as a player about sort of how the organization is being run? What's Phoenix's reputation compared to maybe when you came into the league?
I just think, there's no leadership, one, because I've never even seen that. A guy not show up to his team appearance. That's usually something that goes hand in hand with going to practice. You just go, because there's not a lot of them during the year. So you go out there, but the one thing that's discouraging about them losing all these years is you're right. They don't have a plan. Philadelphia made their fans buy in. Right. They lost every year, but they were excited because they had something to lean on, like trust the process.
Right.
And there was a plan in place. I don't know so much about what Sacramento was doing a few years ago, but now they have arrived. So, Phoenix needs to come up with a slogan or something to let people know where we will.
I believe they have one, right? Michael Schwartz, our researcher. No, but don't they have organized? Our researchers
trust
the timeline. There we go. Our researcher Michael Schwartz is a Suns fan who has suffered every season.
Well, I'll tell you a story about this. I was talking to an exec from a different team, and they do this drill where they sit around and say, what are the other 29 teams? Let's define what their philosophy is. And they go through the list. Atlanta, a team that's rebuilding and accumulating assets. Philadelphia, a team that's going for it right now. Los Angeles Clippers, they say, a team that's pursuing multiple tracks simultaneously. And then something interesting happened. It was like, what about Phoenix? And everyone around the table is like, what are they doing?
Right.
Are they going, they signed a bunch of veterans, right? So maybe they're trying to win now. Well, no, it's like, wait a minute.
Right.
They have the younger guys. Well, wait a minute. What are they doing with their cap space? And after the entire conversation occurred, everyone's like, all right, so how do we want to classify them? And everyone was like, we don't know.
The timeline is not worked out yet. And I do want to just emphasize as we go to break here, what you said about James Jones, very popular around the league. I think a lot of players like the idea of going to a place where he is involved in management, but he has to be empowered. And the idea has been that, hey, he hasn't been empowered yet in a way that gives him that authority he needs. According to 98.7 FM in Phoenix, they are starting a new search for a general manager. James Jones will be considered. If he gets that job full time, maybe then he will be empowered to do a little bit more. We are going to keep watching them because, again, it's a market with so much young talent. They're in the running for the #1 overall
They
pick again
defined
this
innovation
year.
on the floor, in the health program, everything.
And not so much anymore. But